exposure effect, or mere exposure effect, is a cognitive bias characterized by an improvement in the feelings toward a person or an object, which is a consequence of repeated exposure. Let's take a concrete example. You've probably already experienced hearing a song for the first time and not liking it. But after hearing it over and over, after listening to it repeatedly, you end up really liking it, even singing along to it. Without even realizing it, you develop more favorable attitudes toward that music. Because you know it, that's the mere exposure effect in action. In fact, simply having already been exposed to a stimulus would make our judgments more favorable. This can apply to a variety of objects or fields, whether it's words, geometric shapes, paintings, design, or even in our social interactions. This psychological phenomenon refers to the development of a preference and a more positive response towards something or someone because of its familiarity. The key research in this area is that of Robert Zayonk. The American psychologist conducted a series of experiments in the 1960s in which he demonstrated the robustness of this effect. He exposed individuals to 12 meaningless made-up words, telling them they were going to participate in a study on the pronunciation of foreign words, Turkish words in this case. The participants would see the word, then hear the host pronounce it before pronouncing it themselves. The frequency of exposure varied from 0 to 25. At the end of the exposures, the experiment leader asked the participants to indicate whether the adjective was rather positive or rather negative. The results show that for each of the 12 words, repeated exposure led to a more positive perception among the participants. The study was also replicated with Chinese characters and with photographs of faces. Zayonk's work opened up a broad field of research, which naturally extended into the management sciences literature, especially in marketing. The mere exposure effect has been considered in terms of consumer reactions to logos, products, and brands, with particular attention given to the repetition of advertisements. For example, repeating an advertisement promotes memorization, better attitudes toward the ad and the product, and even a greater intention to seek out information about the product. But be careful, overexposing the consumer to a brand stimulus can also lead to negative reactions. That's right, the risk is wear out. Fatigue, loss of attention, and unwillingness to re-watch the advertisement are all potential negative consequences.